Hey guys, this is your daily dose of movies. Today I'm talking about comedy, romance movie, Meet the Parents. With budget of $55 million and rating of 7.0 by IMDb, Greg Focker, a Chicago-based nurse, intends to propose to his girlfriend Pam Burns, but finds that he has to seek Pam's father for permission before he proposes to Pam. Pam's sister's wedding takes them to Pam's parents' house. Greg plans to propose to Pam in front of her family, but the airline loses his suitcase, which includes the engagement ring. After arriving at Burns' home, Jack compliments the color of Greg's rental car and asks if he picked it. Greg tells him, "Oh, no,
Oh
the guy
no,
at the
guy at the
counter."
counter.
"Why?"
Why?
Jack then says,
Oh,
"They say
geniuses pick green,
geniuses pick green, but you didn't pick it."
but you didn't pick it.
From the moment Greg arrives, it is clear that he'll have to work hard for Jack's approval. Greg also meets with Pam's mother Dina and their beloved Jinx, a brown and black Himalayan cat, at the Burns Long Island home. A Jerusalem tulip, one of the rarest and most beautiful flowers on the planet, is put in the soil of a flower pot Greg delivers to Jack and Dina as a gift. Greg's choice of work as a male nurse and any other differences between him and the Burns family cause Jack to be suspicious and publicly criticize him. While driving to the store, Greg tries to get Jack's permission to marry Pam, but gets awkwardly distracted by Jack, who starts to talk about Greg hating cats. He just can't get over it. On their way to the store with car radio playing the song Puff, the Magic Dragon, Greg accidentally leads Jack to believe he is a marijuana user because of his discussion of the song's probable hidden lyrical connections to drugs.
Just the name of the boy's
This leads
magical
us to
dragon.
one of the most ridiculously uncomfortable dinner scenes in all of cinema. Greg, despite being Jewish, is
Greg,
invited to lead a
Like to say
prayer.
grace?
You may not have known that he used the words from Day by Day, a song from the musical
Follow
Godspell,
thee
for a
more
prayer.
nearly.
Jack delivers a poem he wrote in honor of his mother to Greg as he eats dinner with Pam's parents for the first time. Whether he's
You
writing
gave me
about the
life,
wonderful
you
emotions
gave me
like,
milk,
"You gave me life,"
you gave me
"You gave me
courage.
courage," or the brutal details of her death, his poetry is full of emotion. Greg
Never
concludes the
more,
poem by praising Jack's
never more.
poetry for its mixture of compassion and honesty,
Until we
as well as its
meet.
inclusion of detailed medical information.
So much
So much
love, yet
love.
also so much
So much knowledge.
information.
Greg also invents a tale about milking a cat in an effort to explain why he was previously discovered reading a pharmacy magazine on lactation at the store. When Greg says,
Oh yeah,
"You can milk anything with nipples," Jack asks, "I have
I have
nipples,
nipples,
Greg. Could you milk me?" A
Mine
bottle
is
of champagne is then presented to the Burns by Greg, but the cork abruptly rips off and smashes an urn holding the remains of Jack's dead mother, which Jinx proceeds to pee on, after Jack implies that Pam had a previous fiancé. Despite his best efforts, Greg is unable to win over Jack. The lie detector test from Jack and the revelation from Pam that Jack is a former CIA agent makes him even more uneasy. Later, Jack finds a marijuana pipe in Greg's pocket, which he mistakenly assumes is his since Greg borrowed Danny's jacket. Yes, Pam has a brother Danny who showed up when Greg sought into his underwear drawer because he doesn't like Jack's. Even after meeting Pam's sister Debbie and her fiancé, his parents, and Pam's financially and spiritually successful ex-husband Kevin, Greg still feels like an outsider. During a game of pool volleyball, Jack criticizes Greg's weak playing abilities, and tensions between Greg and Jack rise. While trying to play more seriously, Greg accidentally spikes the ball into Debbie's face, leaving her with a bloody nose and a black eye. The Burns property is later flooded with raw sewage due to a defective toilet used by Greg, although he attempts to blame Jinx for it, which Jack obviously does not believe. Greg's baggage is finally delivered by the airline, but he realizes that it is the wrong suitcase. When Greg phones the airline to try to sort out the hiccup, he mistakenly releases Jinx into the wild. In spite of his best attempts, Jinx manages to escape from Greg on the roof. For some reason, Greg was so reckless with his cigarettes that they set fire to the backyard and destroyed the wedding altar Kevin had made for Debbie's wedding. When Jack opens Greg's baggage, he finds plenty of sexually explicit knickknacks. In light of the debate about Puff, the Magic Dragon, Jack concludes that Greg is a drug dealer masquerading as a nurse to get easy access to the hospital. To help locate Jinx, Greg goes to an animal shelter and finds a feral cat that appears almost identical to Jinx, but for one minor difference: the cat has a white tip on its tail instead of an all-black tail. He then places Jinx's collar on the cat and spray paints its tail to resemble Jinx. Jinx has been located in the backyard of one of his neighbors while the family is out for dinner. On the way home, Greg realizes that Jack has found out about the Jinx and starts speed racing with Jack to beat him home and erase the evidence, but fails when Jack takes a shortcut. The family is horrified to see that the stray cat has totally trashed the living room when they arrive at the residence. In front of the whole family, Jack calls out Greg's dishonesty and demands he leave his home and end his relationship with Pam. All of Burns' family members, including Pam, agree that Greg should leave the house. After all else fails, Greg admits that he has seen Jack speak to strange characters while he was there, including a phone call with a Thai and a meeting in a drugstore parking lot, and that he is planning a secret mission to Thailand after Debbie's wedding, lying about being retired from the CIA. This is his final-ditch attempt to save himself. However, Greg quickly understands that Jack's explanation that he was really preparing a surprise vacation to Koh Samui for the honeymooners and the guy he was meeting with in the parking lot was a travel agent handing him their visas is only going to make things worse. The relationship between Greg and Pam is shattered, and Greg leaves. An airport worker appears outside with Greg's actual lost bag, which was labeled Gaylord. Once on board the airline, Greg is held by security when he refuses to check in his suitcase because it won't fit in the overhead storage container and uses the term bomb to express his displeasure. No matter how much Pam tries to convince him otherwise, Jack still thinks Greg is a bad spouse because of his lack of honesty and ineptitude. At the airport, Jack understands that Greg has a crush on Pam, rushes to the gate and proposes to Greg. Because of his desire to get Jack's favor, Greg has done all of his previous behavior out of desperation. Finally, Jack apologizes to Greg and takes him back to the Burns' home. When Greg finally proposes, Pam agrees, and her parents decide to meet Greg's family. Hope you enjoyed this dose of movies. Have a nice day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya!